Hey everybody, it's Steve Lee, and I have got a really awesome tutorial for you today. I think you're really going to like this. So this all started out in the Divi Web Designers Facebook group, and somebody was asking the question about how you recreate this effect here with this rating system. Now the peculiar thing about this is that if you click on stars 1 through 3, it takes you to this this what can we improve page, and let you leave your name and your contact info and all that sort of thing. But if you were to click on stars 4 or 5, it takes you, well, first you got to select a location because they've got a few here, but it takes you right out to the Google My Business page for that location and lets you leave a Google review, which is, you know, we all know the value in that. So this was a really cool concept, and I thought that it was pretty neat, and I'm definitely going to implement it on some of my client sites where that would benefit. So I responded to that question on the Facebook group after inspecting the element and seeing that it looks like they've got just some FontAwesome icons, which are really straightforward and easy to use, and then just a simple link to whichever page you want. So I commented with as much, and that was a little short-sighted of me. I overlooked a really big step in this after I went to go try and recreate it, and that's that if you hover over any of the stars, it highlights the stars before it. So if you hover over the third star, it lights up the first and the second star, and that wasn't something that I could make work with just popping in the icon shortcode and changing the color on hover. It only did it for that single icon and not for all the icons before it. So that was pretty short-sighted of me, and to make it up, I went about figuring out how we can do this, and we needed a little bit of CSS, a little bit of JQuery, and wrapped it all up in a nice little package, and this is what we've got. So let's start with FontAwesome. You're going to need a FontAwesome account if you don't have one already. They have a free option. They have a paid option. Just go ahead and start with the free one. Enter in your email address, verify it, and then they'll give you a single shortcode to use that you can pop into your website. Now you've got to go to go into the back end, go to Divi, theme options, and then under the integration tab, you'll want to place this shortcode. It's this one right here on the bottom, script source kit fontawesome.com. It's that one line of code that you'll have to place into the head section, and then make sure you save your changes. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what we're going to end up with here, what we're building today. Rate us, and then we've got the stars. Now FontAwesome has a lot of different icons that you can choose from, as far as how you want the stars to look, and in the CSS options, you'll be able to change the colors to anything you need to, which is really nice and convenient. So don't feel like you're kind of pigeonholed into doing things exactly like this. We've got a lot of flexibility here. So this is what we're going to be recreating today, and I think I'm ultimately gonna place it somewhere in the header of this web page, maybe somewhere in the footer. I've even considered placing it in the blog pages, just because they're pretty informational for this particular client's needs. So we'll figure out where that's going to go in a bit. Let's go in and create a new page here and get started. Add a new page. We're going to call it YouTube star rating. We'll use the Divi builder. A few side notes while this is loading. I use rank math for everything. That makes it really convenient for no indexing and no following pages. You'll want to do that for something like the how can we improve page that we're ultimately going to link to. It's here under the advanced tab. You would no follow, no index, no archive, no snippet. You just don't want that to be found on on search engines. You'll want to do that for your whichever page this is going to link to. So let's go ahead and start building on the front end. Okay, we're here. We're going to build from scratch. Add a new row, and then we're going to add a text module and just call it Rate Us. And under this text module, we're going to go to the Custom CSS tab and give it a display inline block. What this is going to do, it's going to make it so that the, I don't think I still have it opened here. It's going to make it so that Rate Us and the stars are all next to each other. If you want it Rate Us to be on top of the stars, you would just leave this out. And we can actually leave that out here, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we've got Rate Us. I'm going to open up the Layers tab here just because I like working with it within that a little better. And I'm going to create a new text module here. And this is where we're going to add the actual font shortcode that FontAwesome is going to give us. So I've got that saved over here. Let me just close a couple tabs to clean up a little bit. The shortcode that we need, and I'm going to add it here into the text editor rather than the visual editor. An icon class, and then var fa-star. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Let's clean this up so you guys can see what we're dealing with here. There we go, and we've got our first star there. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the Advanced tab now, and I'm going to give this a CSS ID of 1. And then on the Custom CSS main element section, we're going to give this a display inline block. And again, so that's just going to keep these stars in order. If we didn't put inline block there, the stars would stack one on top of the other. Inline block just puts everything right in line, which is really nice. So we've also got to set a link. Now this is going to be the first star, so I'm going to set the link for the how we can improve page, which I've gone ahead and already created here. I'll show you what that looks like. How can we improve? I use gravity forms to create this. You can select the star and enter in your contact information and any comments that you need. So that's what we're going to be linking to here on stars 1, 2, and 3. And then 4 and 5, I'll show you how we're going to get the pipe in the Google My Business. So I think we've got everything set up here, and we can start duplicating this a few times. There we go. We've got 5 stars, and the first 2 are already set with the link. Now, just to keep things in order here, I'm actually going to go and change the names of these. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but just for clarity's sake, it's going to make it easier for all of us to follow along if we've got these labels set. And 5. There we go. So number 1's already good to go. Let's go into number 2. And the only thing that we need to change here is the CSS ID. We're going to change that to 2. And then this one we're going to change to 3. This one we're going to change to 4. And add our Google My Business link. I'll show you how to get a hold of this for your own, for yourself, for your clients. I'll show you how to get a hold of this towards the end. And then we've got to do the same thing for number 5. We'll change the link to go out to the Google My Business review and change the CSS ID to 5. So we should be looking pretty good here. Now let's go ahead and add a code module. This is where we're going to be placing our JQuery code. And I've got that just copied on another screen here. I'm going to link to that down in the description. You'll be able to copy and paste it a little easier there from the Trello repository. And we're using a code module, so anything, jQuery that you add to a code module you've got to make sure it's wrapped in script tags, which it will be when you copy and paste it. But just make sure that they're there, and I'll give you a brief walkthrough of what we're dealing with here. So jQuery document ready just means that this isn't going to run until the page is loaded, which is really nice. And then all we're doing is we're calling out the ID. So this is for star number 1, and on hover we are giving it a class. We're giving the ID of 1 a class called 1star. And 1star, we've got that in CSS, which we'll go ahead and add next. It just adds the gold color to that first star. And we're doing the same thing on down the line. So for ID number 2, we're toggling the class. We're adding a class of 1star and 2star, which is going to make that 1star and 2star light up when you hover over star number 2. And all the way on down the line. So really pretty simplistic script that we put together here, and it's going to make it easy and lightweight, and cool effect. It seems to work really well. So I've gone ahead and added that code module. Let's get in and add our CSS. I'm going to copy that from my other screen here. Let's publish this page. And now I've already got this added to the theme customizer, but I'll show you where I added it here. Under theme customizer and then additional CSS, I've gone ahead and added it right here. Rating star CSS. When the class 1star is added, it changes the color to gold. Whatever color you want these stars to be, you can go ahead and change this. If you wanted them to be red, black, you can put in a hex code, RGB code, anything you want to. That's where you would change it for the particular stars. And if you want to style them any other way, if you want the stars to get bigger or smaller here, this is where you would add your transform and scale codes and stuff like that. So really straightforward, and you can see that the effect is already in place here. I'm gonna exit out of this and show you just the rate us, how to put it all in line, if that's what you care to do. Oh, I'm under the row. Let's click into rate us and go to custom CSS, and we're gonna display inline block for that too. And that just brings it all in line. Now you can see that there's a little bit of a they're a little close here. We can make some spacing with that. I would just go into the spacing margin section and give it a right margin of maybe 0.8. Here we go. Viewport width should be good. And you can play with this depending on how much spacing you need. There are so many options. I mean, I think figuring out where to place it is going to be the biggest issue, and you'll probably have to make a couple of tweaks here and there just to get the the final positioning just right. I can't do a YouTube video on every single possibility of that, because it would just take forever, and we try to keep these kind of short. So let's talk finally about how we, I'm going to save this and exit just so we can get the final effect here. And then we're going to talk about how to get the your particular Google ID that you need. We'll exit out of here. And you can see that the star system is working, it's working really well. If we click on 1 through 3, it's going to open up our how can we improve page. And if we click on 4 or 5, it's going to take us out to Google My Business and let us leave a review. So to get your Google My Business link, you're going to have to go to this here, developers.google.com, and you'll see that I'll leave that a link in the description, and you'll see a map here. So what I had to do is I had to type in the business name, Roland Park Orthodontics. And when you click on that, it's going to give you an ID here next to place ID. And you're going to need that place ID to pop into here on your, let me open up one of the stars. So on the link, I'm going to leave this pasted in the description as well. Search.google.com, local, rate review, place ID, equal sign. You've got to put your place ID after this equal sign. And that's it. It's really simple and straightforward, and that's going to work out for you. So guys, that's all I've got for today. Any questions, comments, please leave them below. If you found this helpful or useful and you want to find your way back for some more of this kind of content, please subscribe and turn notifications on. That really helps the Google algorithms and helps us be found and grow. So that's all I've got. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.